Hello, I'm back again to do another update on my tiny living space. Starting from a different point in the yard. This is under the giant willow tree, which is across from my little building. And underneath it I have my swing, my outdoor wonderful swing. Now I'm going to turn and face my building. And as you can see, I have a little fence now in front of it. So that's one of the big updates. I wanted something to kind of cover that bottom edge of the building where there's a big gap where the wheel is, and I just wanted to kind of give it more of a pleasing look from the outside for my neighbors and my landmates. So I copied the fence in the front yard. I measured everything and I plotted it out on a piece of paper and figured out how to make the pickets go up and down in that nice little wave-like motion. I did look online first. I thought maybe I could just buy panels like this that are already pre-made and maybe it would be faster and easier. But I could only find straight ones where the top is all straight. And so I persisted and I was able to find these beautiful cedar pickets that I could buy individually. And then I found a carpenter friend who said yes, he could build the framing behind it and make it into panels. So originally I asked him to make six panels, and we turned it into 3 panels. And that fit across the front edge, and then I thought, no, I need it a little bit bigger and longer. And so I wanted to kind of do a little more of a wrap around the edges here. So after I saw what he did, I thought, man, I could do that. So I went out and bought some more pickets. Pardon the airplane overhead. We live near an airport. So anyway, I bought more pickets and the 2x4s, and I knew how to cut them. I knew how to screw them in and put everything together. And I feel really happy, that I was able to build my own skill level a little bit. Now, as you can see, there's some straps holding things in place, and that's because I'm still not done. I have laid this out where I want it to go, but I didn't want to pin everything down until I felt really confident. Plus, there's still some more questions about how to most securely anchor it. I didn't really want to go the route of putting in posts with concrete, even though that's very sturdy, but I wanted it to be a little bit more movable, easy to move. So I'll show you now on the back side. I'm using T-posts. They're called T-posts. I guess, I don't know why exactly. But anyway, you can pound them into the ground and then they can be supports for other things. And then I just use some Velcro straps to hold it in place while I figure out if I need to do any more fine-tuning in terms of getting it level, and if I want it closer to the building, or I don't think I want it further out. Now you might wonder, why do I want a gap here? Well, come springtime and through a lot of the year, we have to mow. And so I want to be able to get back here and mow with a weed whacker. I just think that would be much easier. Plus, if I want to be able to get underneath the building, I have access points. So I think that's the story on the fence. Now I'm coming around to the front. There's one other big outside change that I made. If you've watched my other videos, you might remember that the deck was actually down on the ground, and then the steps were going up in front to the door. So I asked my carpenter friend who built it, I said, can we just lift that porch, that landing area up and put the steps in front? And he said yes. So that's what we did. and I love it. I feel like it just feels better to have more space up here. You step up the steps, and then there's actually more space. I might even put in a little bench over on the side, and then I can stand here on the porch and look out, and it just feels really different. It's amazing how little changes can make a big difference. And now let's go inside. I don't have a lot of new big changes inside, but a few little changes. One of them is the curtain underneath the loft. So as you can see, it's different. I used to have orange butterfly, a sheet that had orange butterflies on it. Now I have this velvet drapey kind of fabric down there, and I just love it. It feels really warm and flowy and comfortable. And it opens easily, meaning I can just pull the drapes side to side. Sorry, this is kind of hard to do with the camera. Yeah, the drapes slide easily so that I can go underneath and get into my storage area. And also I have stored under here this step stool, which I use to get up into the loft. And it's really nice to be able to move it out of the way and out of sight, and then I have a little more space, quite a bit more space in here, floor space. Okay, so then another thing I did was added curtains up here on this window. They still need to be sewn. I just picked the fabric and had to put the hardware in to hold the curtain, and they're just pinned in right now, so I've got to do some sewing. Sewing is not something I'm very skilled at. I can do some basic rudimentary sewing. So everything is a learning curve in this project. And let's see, I still have this green fabric. I like it. It's nice. It's kind of pulled to the side right now in front of this window. But I noticed at night I can see through it if I'm standing outside, and I kind of would prefer to have better privacy. So I'm probably gonna have to find a different type of curtain material for this one. So these are small things that, don't make a big splash of a difference, but they're important to me. Here also on the door, I put a curtain fixture and then added fabric there. And again, I also have to sew that once I decide if I really like that one. So at night, it's pretty easy to just reach up and slide the curtain over, and then I have, nice privacy again. Okay, I think I'm almost through my list. Oh, there's one more little thing that's kind of fun to share with you. So if you remember, if you watched my previous videos, this what I call my kitchen table, or my, just my table in the room. But now I've added this little tiny shelf coming out from the windowsill. So it was really only inspired. I wasn't really thinking I needed a shelf there, but I have these cuts from round pieces of wood that leave me with these like half moon or partial moon shaped pieces of wood. And so it just inspires me to find places where it can fit in. And so that piece came from this piece. This was a round piece of wood that we had to cut in order to fit it into the corner. So then I was left with these partial, curved pieces. And then I guess there is another thing to tell you. This table was a full round tabletop, which of course I cut in half. And then we put part of that here as a divider. And then I still had another piece left. And so I had my carpenter friend put it up in the corner to create another shelf up there. A nice little shelf, which I'd like to put a plant on or something. I'm not sure yet what. Oh, and then there's one more thing to share. This is new. So I found, before I show you, I'm going to explain. I was not looking for a sculpture. I was looking for, something else, some other piece of wood or something. And I was at an antique store, one of those vintage, secondhand / antique stores where they have a billion interesting things. And I happened upon a wood carving, and I immediately was just drawn to it and kind of balked at the price and set it back down. And then a few days later, I went back and I bargained with the guy, and he took off 10%. And I just really felt like this caught my attention. And so I guess this might be called vintage folk art. And it is a carving on a piece of wood. And it's kind of amazing to me how beautifully, finely done the face is. But then it kind of pans out. Sorry, my camera's a little bit weird with lighting. But then it pans out and it's actually just left with this, rugged piece of wood. Literally, it's still it's kind of crumbling still. The person who carved it put their name on the back, and they put a hook. And I haven't figured out exactly where I want it to be permanently, but right now it's just leaning up here on the windowsill. To me, it feels like a spirit of the tree, an old man, grandfatherly energy. And I'm also intrigued by the face, which to me looks somewhat like a face that has experienced a lot of pain or, rough life. But at the same time, there's almost a quality of laughter too, a smiling. So that's what I saw in it, and I kind of like that combination of how it is in life, in real life, is that there is, for most of us, a lot of challenges, suffering, that, you can really see it in people's faces and their bodies. But we can also laugh, and we can also still see the beauty in life. And it's all kind of rooted in our humanness, in that wood, that kind of that rough wood, that the wood of life. I don't know, the earthiness of life. So that is my update for today, and thank you for joining me if you're watching this. And it's fun to do this, if only for my own memory. It's really kind of a journal. I'm not doing this professionally. I don't make any money off of it. There's a few people who look at my videos because they, care about me, love me, and want to see what I'm up to. And that's really all this is about. All right, take care. See you next time.